Put the mic in. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready? You ready?
Yeah, right.
Put the
No,
mic.
that sounds good. You nailed that, by the way.
Yeah, bro. I
But
got I got that shit unlocked. I need to make my own tag though, because I've been
yeah,
started
yeah.
writing. I started writing music, so I gotta make my own tag and record all that shit.
Yeah, that's something I don't see anywhere. So where is the music something that you just got rolling with, or is it like
Yeah, no. So like I haven't like produced or like recorded any of my music, but I just started writing songs like when I'm on a flight, when like yesterday I was on the ferry. I just start whenever I feel creative, I just started writing a song. Or when I was in Hawaii, I was up on this roof one time and I'm like, dude, I just want to start writing a song right now. And like just whenever I'm in like a creative place in nature and I have a good view and I just feel
yeah.
like sometimes I get flowing, the wave hits and I just start writing music. But I need to record it. Me and my boy Jose actually is my roommate at here at SFU. He runs the track team as well.
Hmm.
He built a really cool clothing brand called Horizons Track.
Cool.
Um, he like we've been talking and we were like, oh, let's start making music. So we might just send it. But yeah,
Yeah, why not? Hey, that's where Mike started
yeah,
anyway. Now, are you
exactly.
from Canada originally?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay.
born and raised Alberta baby. I'm from
All
Calgary. I was
right.
born in Calgary. Basically, Edmonton is my hometown though. It's where I lived most of my
Mhm.
life. And now I'm out here in Vancouver on the coast for track and field. Moved here for the training group because it's one of the best middle, pretty much, yeah, I'd say it's the best middle distance training group in Canada. So that's why I moved here. I moved here for the dream, you
Oh,
know.
sick.
How about
Okay.
you? How
So
about you?
yeah,
You're in like North Florida, right? You said?
yeah. So I was in. I grew up here in North Florida. I went to South Florida for 4 years, and
Nice.
that's where I was running track, and then uh, came back just in June, and so I've been
Okay.
back. Yeah, I've been back here for a few months. I know you. I saw you followed Lars too. He'll probably hop in here at some point.
Dude, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Me and Lars
yeah,
connected. I don't know. I think we just connected just because we both kind of posted, and then Lars knows a lot of guys in Tribe. Oh, are you in Tribe? No.
no, but me and
Okay.
him. That's our running joke. We like none of them are on here, but they'll all probably listen to this, which is why it's lit.
Yeah.
Is we kind of took the philosophy of like, okay, the guys though that are in tribe are still guys we want to fuck with,
Hmm.
and they're all the ones that are active on social media. Again, we still want to fuck with them,
Hmm.
so we just kind of went through like their followers, and we saw like the kids that were like commenting mad, and we
Yeah.
both like I didn't even know who he was 6 months ago, and when he
Yeah.
moved here in June, he's like, dude, I did the same fucking thing and like just went through and like fucking
Yeah.
followed
Dude,
everybody.
one of my boys, Jacob, he's like my best friend. He did the same thing. Like everyone, it's funny because you see the mutual followers of everyone who's in Tribe, and it's just like everyone thinks Jacob's in Tribe too. He's like, no, man, I'm not even in the group,
No,
but that's funny. Yeah, because
and
you
I
said you went to
talked to
Malibu with Arlen. Was that I was actually just looking at the your page before this. It was that to Film Look podcast.
yeah.
Nice.
So he put out something, yeah, just so random. Literally did it on a whim. I think we were at this must have been I think it was in April, and he was just
Yeah.
like, I'm doing podcast episodes for the next 8 weeks. Like DM or email my assistant with a proposal.
Nice.
So I just did it, and then his assistant, who's his girlfriend or
Yeah.
whatever, she reached back to me like 2 weeks later. So I thought it was like I thought he just said no, and then like
Okay.
2 weeks later he was like, "Dad, like you can fly out and we'll just do it at my crib." And I was like, "Sick." So it was like the same one in all the videos, that little Malibu spot. And so
Nice.
I actually flew to Phoenix, and then excuse me, and then we went from Phoenix and we drove to LA or to Malibu from there.
Oh, nice. How was that drive? I've never actually, no, I've been to Phoenix and I did a training camp in
Cool.
Flagstaff. Because
Cool.
you run,
Okay.
right? Yeah, I did
Yeah.
that first month out of high school, I went to Flagstaff, but I knew some guys were talking about going to LA. How far away is it?
Mm.
Like 5 hours,
Yeah,
something
it was
like
only like 5 or 6 hours, and like
that?
yeah,
Nice.
it's a cool drive. It's just like 2 lanes all the way there, and then we stopped in Joshua Tree on the way back, so that was
Nice.
cool. Yeah. But
Sure.
yeah, I mean, we'll get kind of into the podcast flow of things
Let's get it, bro.
here. But for those of you that are joined in, I sincerely appreciate you. I will try to do more of these lives. But obviously we got my boy Sebastian here. He's a fellow rational optimist of mine, so we both kind of, excuse me, gosh, connected through that group
Yeah.
chat. Clear our throat here, and you stood out to me because you're a runner and you're teaching people to run and you're
Yeah.
coaching people to run and you're running in college. So before my hiccups take over, Sebastian, thank you so much for hopping on.
For sure,
You
man.
just kind of want to briefly introduce yourself, do a better job than I did, and we'll take it from there. Holy crap!
Yeah, hiccups going crazy. But yeah, my name is
Wow.
Sebastian Lind. I am 20 years old. Currently, well, actually, it's funny. I'm not enrolled in classes yet, but enrolling in classes in Simon Fraser this next semester so I can compete in the NCAA, Canada's NCAA team.
Cool.
And yeah, I've been running all my life. I used to play a ton of sports, hockey, basketball. I'm like 6'8", so kind of had to play basketball and volleyball growing up. But yeah, I picked running because you can focus. It's all on you. Same thing with entrepreneurship. It's all on you. You fail, then you fail hard. But when you win big. So that's why I started running.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of a background. I've been on multiple Alberta teams. Most recently, like the U25 Canadian Summer Games team. That was a really cool experience. Met a lot of cool people. And then I was running the steeplechase quite a bit, and then now I'm focused on the 1500 and the mile for this indoor season. So yeah, it's kind of about me. And recently, I've always wanted to coach people, and I've always like thought I used to think it as a kid. Like I was like, like that'd be really cool to coach people. Like I'd be super passionate about it, and and then I said, like, it's actually funny. Sam, who's also in Irrational Optimist, he's like, dude, I want to run a marathon. I'm like, dude, I could totally coach you to run a marathon. Like, I know it. And I realized, like, dang, like, I've been running for 5 years. Like, I know a ton about running. In my mind, I was like, oh, like, I'm not fast enough yet to coach. But then I was like,
Mhm.
wait, no, like, I've like, the knowledge I've gained over the years is like, is kind of a no brainer. And then I actually, it's funny because I had never ran a marathon myself yet.
Mhm.
And I already like I built Sam's program and all that stuff just because I know quite a bit about just different training and stuff like that. But and then I was just like, dude, like if I'm gonna coach Sam to run a marathon, I gotta run a marathon myself. So one late Sunday night, I said, screw it, I'm gonna go run a marathon. And then my boy, shout out Carlos, he's the one who started this, but it was like cold turkey marathon. You just go up and you run a marathon, just off no training. You decide to do it, and I did that one day, and then ran my first marathon. Actually, ended up running 28 miles because I turned my watch off, or it was almost Strava, and I turned Strava off for like 20 minutes. And I was like, no, because I put it on
Oh
my
shit.
Instagram story. And I was like, I can't be posting up to 24.2 miles, or like, I don't think I
Yeah.
ran like an extra 5K or something. I don't know. It was for like 20 minutes, so kind of close to that. But yeah, so that's yeah, I coach runners as well. I hope for anyone from like if you're a beginner runner and you literally have never gone on a run. One of my athletes, that was his standpoint, like never ran, but now we're moving up to a 5K. Or if you ran a bit, you're a bodybuilder and you want to run your first marathon. And then we also have another athlete who's training for a fight, and then as well another athlete who's like the track focus in like the 800 and 1500. So it's all over the place. Well, but yeah, it just basically like anyone from who's like beginner to um, if you want to run a marathon and if you want to do well on the track as well, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously those that want to get on the competitive circuit, I'm sure you can really provide some value on that front. Can you tell me a little bit about what that process has been like? Because like, what's your ultimate? Let's start with like what your ultimate goal is for running, just so that we're all kind of on the same page. And then like, what does the current kind of day to day look like to get there?
Yeah, no, definitely. My ultimate goal for running is to compete in the LA 2028 Olympics
Sick.
and win a medal,
Yeah.
do as well as I can there, win. Like that's like the person I am is like I set the biggest goals possible, and it's like and it's funny because like I don't know, some people like obviously I'm not like super close to that right now, but it's also like setting this 5 year goal. It's 5 years away. When I was 18, got it tatted on me. I was like, okay, we gotta. I'm like, okay, I gotta get this Olympic ring. I mean, I made a reel about it. It got quite a bit of traction, but yeah, I when I was 18 years old, I was just doing a lot of training solo, and I I had this idea of like, I should get one Olympic ring before I get the other four, and then like get the other four when I make it, and or just like, and yeah, like that. I got the ring to like show myself that, and like to make a promise to myself, like, hey, you can't give up on this. You can't quit. You have to go until you make the Olympics, or at least like die knowing that you gave it absolutely everything. So, yeah, that's like that. My North Star goal is like LA Olympics. And then my day to day, what does my day to day look like? Today is actually a great day for that because today's a huge training day. So Tuesday, what does it look like? I wake up usually around like 7:30, 7:45. Get as much sleep as I can. I try to get 9 hours because it's just sleep is like super crucial for recovery. I've used sleep as like if you're getting more sleep than your competitors, you're getting that edge. If they're not
Yeah,
getting as much sleep as you know, who's the dog? You know,
proven.
the
Yeah, it's
dogs are
proven.
the one who are going to get the sleep
Yeah.
because that's when you're actually getting better at running. But yeah, so day to day, like wake up like 7:30, 7:45, and then recently we had practice at 8:15 a.m. and like I never used to run and do my workouts super early. Um, and I love it. Like you wake up, you know, today was misty, like sunrise was at 8, so we're basically running at the sunrise or crack of dawn, and then running a workout usually ends up being like total 16 to 18K. So it's over 10 miles, usually pretty, yeah, at least 10 miles. Then come back, have a huge meal, recover, get a nap in, just because like I said, it's one of those things that's the competitive edge. And then wake up, usually get either I'll go do weights, get that done, or do weights later in the evening, but then get work done basically all day, um, in and around weight sessions, and then have a second run around like anywhere from like 4 to 7 p.m. of like 4 to 5 miles. So getting in like on those workout days, like 14, 15, sometimes 16-mile days. Just getting a lot of volume in, and just basically working around that. And then trying to get to bed as early as I can. But I always end up, you know, to getting my content out for the day. I always end up being like, okay, no, like I need to post content today. So I don't, it usually, sometimes it makes me stay up a little later, but hey, it's all about consistency. But yeah, it's kind of what my day to day is looking like
Yeah, no,
in
I mean,
my training. It's mostly like main focus is running, but then obviously like I'm super like entrepreneurial and stuff. So I love coaching people and stuff like that. So yeah.
yeah, no, it's super cool because like you definitely it adds a whole nother element of time that again like your competition isn't necessarily doing. It's why you don't see like I don't see running influencers every single
Hmm.
day. Not to use like the I use the influencer term lightly, but like it's interesting. Like you
Yeah.
kind of have this whole process, but I think that's why a lot of people can pull from it
Yeah.
because it's also like okay, this is actually possible. I mean, you've obviously built your following. I mean, you're almost at 5,000 people that have started to follow along. How long have you been creating content alongside the training?
Um, that's actually a great question. So I always posted on TikTok before, but like TikTok wasn't as personal. Like I was never actually like talking to the camera. But then one day in August, I just decided to. I was like, you know what? Like I kind of want to start posting content. Like I just want to speak to the camera, and I started doing that. And then the very first post that I posted, like of me actually like speaking to the camera, like showing my story, fully being truly authentic to the world, to Instagram, putting it out there to the world, was that Olympic ring tattoo. And then it like blew up and got like 90K views, and I was like, what? Damn! Like damn! And then ever since then, like I started posting more and more, and then eventually I just told myself, um, I'm just gonna post every day, and now I've been posting like give or take. But although someone named I don't know if you know Cam, he just put out a challenge of posting for 30 days straight,
Oh,
so I'm gonna do that.
oh yeah, you tagged
Um,
me in it.
oh yeah, I
Yeah, I
tagged
saw
you
that. I'm
in it.
in,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
You
yeah. Or
picked a
else you
good
have to
week to
drink a
do it.
liter of soy milk, bro.
Yeah,
you
like
don't you don't
I
want to
don't even
drink the
drink
soy
regular
milk.
milk, so like that's not gonna work. But
Yeah,
thank God
exactly.
you picked me on a day where I've got like 30 pieces of content good to go. I just gotta literally wake
Exactly.
up and post it, and
Yeah,
it will get out
yeah.
there.
I've quite a bit of good stuff stocked up too, but yeah. So I've been like consistently posting content on IG, um, like probably I guess a couple months now. And it's funny because I was always scared to put it on IG because you know everyone from high school follows you there. You like people, you know, everyone you know is on IG. Like, but so I'd always just post on TikTok. But I was just like, dude, like I don't care. Like, ever since I started posting content, just being my true, authentic self, I feel fucking amazing. Like that's when you feel best is when you're just being you. Like and like it almost like it let me be like I'm okay. I can like I'm awesome. Like I can be whoever I want to be and put that out to the world. And like I don't care if you fuck with me or not, but I'm just gonna be me, you know. And so that was definitely um that I'm definitely super glad. And I've just like connected with so many people just the more content I post and yeah, it's great. And but yeah, you're saying like the whole like running influencer thing. Yeah, because like it definitely is hard to balance. But I like I don't know. I also think it's like I just think like posting content is like the new wave, and like I love it. I personally enjoy doing it, so I'm just gonna continue doing that and try to build it as much as we can.
Yeah, 100%, dude. That's great to hear. Because, like, honestly, we say it every week, but it's like there's never been a easier time to basically get paid to be yourself.
Hmm.
So, like, it's just very, the only difference is you're either going to sit down for a year or 2 years, or like I say, like, a podcast is something I could do for the next 50.
Yeah.
And, like, eventually,
Yeah.
you need 1,000 true fans to really fuck with you.
Yeah.
And, like, you're going to make enough than, like, a teacher's salary, like, doing it.
Exactly. And
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 just
that's
from
the
the
way.
other opportunities that come from it alone. I mean, I'm sure you get hit up all the time in your DMs with potential collaborations and XYZ. Like, that's the underrated part where, like, you don't need 10,000
Mm,
followers to get access to that kind
mhm.
of thing.
Yeah, totally. It's funny you said the like thousand true fans or true followers. That's Mike always says that too. Is like if you have like, like if you find a way to if you find people that really fuck with you, like you can make the same like yeah teacher salary or whatever. And that's the way I view it too. And like I think there's a big shift in like the world right now. Is just like even just like me being around this school right now. I recently like I was funny. I was gonna do business, but I switched it to communications because I'm like, okay, like art and communications is gonna be the thing that's not replaceable in the new economy. Like with AI taking everything over, lawyers are going to be extinct because just ask AI what the contract means. People like there's going to be no accountants. AI is going to take that over. So it's just like the people who are truly authentic and yeah have a personal brand like are going to be the ones that can provide value to the world. But yeah, dude. Yeah. Also, just yeah, tell me about. This is one thing. Tell me about like what business do you run? You said you do like LinkedIn lead gen, right?
Yeah, so I really do personal and B2B brand consulting, and then like our main funnel is a LinkedIn client acquisition mastermind. So there's depending on what level you're working at, we either consult you and your team weekly or we consult them daily through open calls. And then that's everything from sales scripts to automations we're using to expedite the process to, XYZ. But yeah, I'm getting more into the one-on-one kind of people that don't necessarily have $500 a month to work with me, but just
Mm-hmm.
need like strategic planning. Like I need somebody to hold me accountable. That's
Mm-hmm.
really where like the Discord and all of that comes in. Cause but I started as an SMMA. So I started
Okay.
full Iman model, did that for
Nice.
like the last 4 years. Yeah, scaled it to
Okay.
like, yeah, we hit like a couple 10K months and then you just kind of hit a
Nice.
ceiling where it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Yep.
I don't want to manage, like I was doing like 14 hours of work a day, dude. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like the money's cool, I guess, but like no time to spend it
Yeah.
or do anything with it.
Yeah.
And so I've built in the past 12 months, really built it on strategic partnerships. So like that
Nice.
LinkedIn product is more something I sell that was already a mastermind community and that I now can kind of add a whole nother element, my creative side, build podcasts and
Yeah.
do everything under the sun. So yeah, that's been kind of the approach moving
Nice.
forward. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
excited.
was gonna ask how you like got into like business stuff too, because I actually had a short form content agency as well last year, and
Mhm.
yeah, like it's you just sold the dream of the agency, but so, like same here. Like at one point, I was like working like full time, managing the whole social media for one guy, and like it was a little harder for me to automate. But then I was also trying to grow my agency and get more clients, and I was just like this is absolutely just like a headache. Like because you like on the agency, like at least for content, like you just have to be like and when you don't have like softwares and automations in place, like you just have to be answering to people every single day, and like it just becomes like crazy stress load for sure.
Yeah, and like you hit the exact issue I ran into was the service delivery time compared to the time spent acquiring new clients. Like I got those first
Yeah.
10K, dude, I got the first 10K in retainers. I shit you not, I followed 100 DMs a day for 100 days and I held myself to it and I probably was like 80% on it, but like it does work. Like once you hit that kind of volume, it does work. Then it's like they come in and if you don't have a sales team or then I went and got a sales team, but then I realized I got to train a sales team and I got to meet with a sales team every single day.
Hmm.
And I have to make sure they're hitting their KPIs because I don't have time to do it.
Hmm.
And I was like, whoa, like this is why you
Yeah.
kind of get partners. But it's good. Like I tell people, you have to go through that shit to actually learn how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Like I'm so glad I had something that went to 10K and dropped 80% and then I had to rebuild
Hmm.
it back. Like
Yeah.
I always say, like craziest month of my life, but also like so beneficial because I was able to
Hmm.
see on a silver platter, here's where you fucked up and here's what's got to
Hmm.
change,
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. Yeah, that's actually just kind of like my business journey. I started off in door-to-door sales
Mhm.
like a year ago, like August 2022.
And was that
And then I
solar
just like
or was that something
so I
else?
started it's so funny. I started off in telecom. It
Okay.
was a crap offer. Like it wasn't a good gig, like it wasn't a good sales team culture, but then quickly moved to solar setting. And like honestly, I just wasn't good at selling. Like I was just wasn't that great at it, but I learned like over time. Um and then eventually I was offered, I was actually like, there was a solar sales guy who came to train our team. And then when I was there, I was just talking to him, and then we started talking about social media and stuff. And like I showed him what I was posting and like how I kind of grew on TikTok and stuff. And then how I knew how to edit. And then I started working for him. And then I was like, oh, I should like, and then I started working for him. That was a really good opportunity. Did his videography, went to some really cool places with him. And then that's when I was like, okay, now I want to do my agency. Got a few clients, and then yeah, like you said, like the workload was definitely super, like just the whole like, and also just like sitting. You don't necessarily want to sit at your desk for 12 hours a day. Like that's not that life. Like you want to be living. You want to be doing stuff like this. You want to be outside. You want to be working out when you want to. You want to be tapping into the creativeness when you want to. And then yeah, so I kind of realized that like I was like, is the agency the best model? And then my friend who actually has Jacob Brackett's his name. He has a home service. He still has it, but he's not. I don't think focusing on it as much now. But he had a home service business.
Mhm.
So like pressure washing, window cleaning, gutter cleaning, and that's like a really good business model, like really profitable. And then we started doing door-to-door sales, built a door-to-door sales team, and then I started a franchise for him. That's the whole summer, and then I kind of realized I'm like, hey, this is kind of more what I want to be doing. I want to be like talking to people. I want to be having around people my age. I want to be outside in the sun, and then I ended up kind of doing that all summer, and then now I'm here, and then I kind of had the um, realization as well. Like, and that's kind of why I'm leaning more into the personal brands. Like, what's the actual life that you want? Like, you want to be like fully free and be able to move everywhere. Like with the home service business, you can't travel everywhere and work from your phone and all this type of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's definitely you learn less. You always think like this is the business model that's going to take you to a millionaire, but like you always learn these lessons just by trial and error and just by time.
100%, dude. It's probably what I've realized, and honestly, it's probably why I've naturally gravitated towards just taking the podcast so seriously
Yeah.
next year. Was like the more I was spending, the more time I spend doing stuff like this, the more that I know I'm enjoying. I don't like it's not a drag to prep for this. It's not a drag to like I'll post and have this probably up on YouTube within 36 hours. Like,
Yeah.
and
That's
those
impressive.
that right, like more opportunities tend to come of that. And so I was just like, okay, I used to always just be like, there's no way I don't want to get money for the podcast. It's not something that's monetizable. And now I'm seeing, I've shifted my focus. Oh, maybe it
Hmm.
is. Like maybe there
Yeah.
is something here,
Hmm.
maybe eventually we can
Hmm.
teach people how to do it, but let's get
Hmm.
the reps in. And so
Yeah.
now I'm looking at like next year, maybe we're at, 10,000 subs on YouTube. And then it's like, okay, now I could coach people on how to do this. And it's like,
Mm.
whatever comes in throughout next year just by being consistent with content is gravy, great. I'll be fine. And then like yeah, so it's like it really is like you mentioned earlier, like you're playing the 5-year game just on you know
Hmm.
interesting different parallels. But
Definitely, dude. That was what you said there about like kind of like taking your like podcast more seriously and like I was I brought him a couple of times, but I was having this conversation with my friend Jacob, who yeah, basically yeah, he built a home service empire in Edmonton.
mhm,
It was like he had a big client list, and just I have a ton of respect for that guy. But we were talking, and he was in Nick's Cosmos group, and then he was talking about someone from there. He was talking with him, and what he said was, "You okay? What do you actually want?" And then take a step back. What do you actually want? And then he said what he wanted, and then this guy said, "You actually do know what it takes to get there. You either just don't have the information and knowledge, or you just don't believe in it enough, and you don't actually think it could happen. So that's why you're holding yourself back, doing these other opportunities, and that's why you're not going all in on this." And then I was like, "Whoa!" Like it was like a big flip. It's for me, and I was just like, and that's what I also realized. I was like, "Dang, like I actually could coach people for running, like I'm like I can do this, like this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I'm meant to do."
yeah,
And like even on like aspect of like podcasts as well, like I was obviously like I literally haven't put out a song yet either, but like sometimes I got thinking the other night, I was like, dude, like screw it, like what if I make a song and then just like post it like crazy on TikTok and like promote that? Like there's no reason why that can't blow up. Like so like it goes back to the point that everything is a mental is what your mind allows yourself to think is possible. So if you have all these limiting beliefs, these negative beliefs, you're hanging around people that have negative beliefs, you're not going to think anything's possible, and you're not going to think you can get rich, and you're not going to think you can, you know, live the life that you want and actually do what you truly want. Um, but like, it's like you have to unlock your mind, and I don't know, the mind is so powerful, and if you can rewire it to, you know, achieve your greatest dreams, if you can subconsciously just be like in abundance, like yeah, like yeah, everything is truly possible if your mind can wrap itself around that it is possible.
100%. You have to have the thought repetitions. And I'm curious, kind of,
Hmm.
when did that start kind of for you? When did it, I think as runners, we naturally like train our mind muscle because we're literally committing
Yeah.
to pain or like
Yeah.
voluntary pain every single day, right?
Yeah.
And
The
so
most
like I
pain. The most
the
pain.
most pain, like it's the
Full
most pain you
galactic.
could possibly put your body through. But like I saw in one of your videos, like that's why you get the most dopamine release after a run than anything else you could ever possibly do, right?
Yeah,
And so
because
like yeah,
you're it's like you're like because you're putting your body in the most pain it can, it's like you're like willing the power of God. You know, it's like when you're in that last like 100 meters of like a 8 by 400 1 minute rest workout and you're like 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 it's screaming to say no, but you're powering through that and you're willing through that, and then you finish it, you're like, holy shit, I'm powerful. Like it's the best feeling ever.
yeah, you can really ride that wave. But and I'm curious, like, so when did you start applying, say, like the running mindset, being able to overcome pain and change and all that kind of stuff to like life and like in general, like you started applying it more, yeah, like outside versus just on the track, or would you say it's always just kind of naturally appeared in your day to day life along with running?
um Definitely, yeah, just because like or like what like so wait,
Like,
can
is
you
there
state
anything
this
you
question again?
did? Would you say, like, did you commit to certain practices to get your mind in the best shape? Is there anything like you started doing that you maybe weren't doing, like, say high school running or just heading into college that you do
Yeah.
now that you'd say like keeps your mental state? Because you're able to maintain this, running 80 miles a week. Just for anybody who looks at that on paper would be like, I can't do anything
Yeah.
else. And you're still doing you still have a fresh brain to really,
Hmm.
do all of these things.
Yeah, I think there was definitely a big shift so I started running. Like I've always ran, but then I always played other sports, like played really high level hockey my whole life. I actually used to play in the same line as a guy in the NHL now. So
Oh,
and
cool.
that used to be my life. But and then I see that and I'm like, okay, you have to make it in running. Like if you pick this, you better fucking make it, dude. But yeah, there was a shift. I actually got it from my friend Matt Swanson is his name. He goes to Louisiana State. He's a Canadian record holder in the 600 2 times, multiple time national champion. And this guy's built different, and he never sets limits on himself. Like, and I truly believe this guy will break the world record. Like, hey, clip
Yeah.
that. When he breaks the world record, clip back.
All
But
right.
he just never sets beliefs like limits on himself, and then once I started hanging around him, I was just like, dang, like maybe I can do these things I want to do, like. Because like I remember in high school, I'd be sitting in like classroom in grade 10. People ask like they knew I ran and stuff, and they'd be like, yeah, like do you want to make the Olympics someday? Like do you think you'll make the Olympics? And I was like, I would sit there and I'd think, like I'm like yeah, that'd be cool. Like I'd want to do that. And I wasn't fully confident in saying it, but now it's like, and then what I did was it's literally just repetition. Like you tell yourself like I'm an Olympian, 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 and then I got a tat on myself, and like after doing that for so long, like you tell yourself so much. Like if you tell yourself something so much, and then your closest friends also believe it, and they tell you too, it teaches your subconscious brain. It's like, oh no, he is that, and like I did that so much that I got to the point where it's like, damn, like there's no way I don't make the Olympics. Like, like what? Like, there's no way it doesn't happen. And it's just like you tell yourself something so much that like like your mind starts like yeah, it's just like reprogramming your subconscious.
Yeah.
And then like and then obviously like kind of applying that to like more life and like business and stuff. And like there's definitely like when I started door sales, bro, like I struggled a ton. Like there was so many days. Like I remember like the first month, there's so many days where I worked for 10 hours, knocked doors all day, came home with zero, and like I was just like, but like, and in those times, like I didn't necessarily believe that I could succeed at it. I didn't believe it yet, but there's also just like the willpower of like, no, like I'm gonna do it till this works. I know this is what all entrepreneurs need to do, so I'm gonna do it, and just like sticking through that. Like it's not you're not always gonna have a whole bunch of faith in yourself, but when you do the things that you thought you couldn't do, and you just keep doing the thing you know you need to do when it really sucks, I think that's when the belief is built that you actually will become that person. So if you want to be an Olympian and you keep showing up through injury, you keep showing up like I'm not gonna lie, like I've had like the last two track seasons have not been up to my standards. They've been crap in my mind, but I'm still going, and we actually keep showing up after you fail, and you keep showing up. Like that's when the belief is built. Um, so yeah, I'd say like just like yeah, definitely obviously like you can. There's also like I remember when I joined Tribe, there's also like this app called Maxi that like reprograms your kind of your thinking
Yeah, I
patterns, and
used it.
it reads it to you.
Yeah.
It reads your whole like what you want your life to look like, and I think that helps as well. And I actually had an idea. Actually, no, I'm not going to talk about that. That's kind of in the works, but yeah, I have an idea that I want to do like kind of something with something that's like similar to that, but we'll keep that in the vault for now.
Yeah, we'll keep that on the DL for now. Now, yeah, you use Maxi every day because I just used it. I just started like 2 months ago using it.
Yeah, like when I joined Tribe, I use it pretty much every day. I think that was a good tool. And then I hadn't used it for a really long time, but recently, um, yeah, because like I kind of like well, because I went through the whole like Tribe course, and then it didn't really resonate with me as much as like once I kind of learned it. But like now, like Arnold's kind of making a new offer, and it kind of resonated again. Like his content kind of changed, and so it's actually funny. I started using Maxi again, and like, and then I find when you use Maxi, and then you all your mindset, your goals are played to you before you sleep. I feel like whenever I use it, I wake and whenever I use it before I go to sleep, I wake up the next day and I'm like, I know what I need to do. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's best at. It just like programs your mind for the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, 100%. I've noticed that too. I've experimented like in the morning, I've experimented at night, and then I like it because it's like 5 minutes. And like after I hear it, if my eyes are shut, like I can meditate for another 10, 20 minutes just in the
Mm,
silence of like those thoughts like happening. And I think it's something we've hit on a lot today where it's just like the more you tell yourself what your reality is, your mind can't tell the difference. You're
yeah.
just going to start seeing those opportunities. It's just like my favorite example is like, you used to play the game in the car where you're looking for license plate letters or you're looking for a specific car, right? And you got points every time you found that car license plate letter. And you, as soon as you focused on that thing, like I'm looking for A or I'm looking for this red truck, like you saw the freaking red truck every single time,
Yeah.
and you're
Uh-huh.
passing it. You're passing it every day. Whereas I'll drive now and
Yeah.
like have no clue. So it's like
Yeah.
it's science. Like people they think it's like foo foo, and I'm like honestly though, but that's why the 1% do it and the 99% don't, and
Hmm.
they won't because they're
Yeah.
not willing to accept that as actual reality. They'd
Yeah.
rather
It's
live in
like
like this unconscious, like uncomfortable, this is hard, this shit sucks,
hmm.
blah blah blah. And I'm like, you're choosing to do that. I don't people like I struggle with empathy because people always tell me their issues and I go to logic like immediately because I know it's like a thought pattern and they're creating those emotions and it's like it frustrates me. It's like I know you can just how you created those negative emotions, you can snap yourself right out of it here in like
Hmm.
30 seconds, you know?
Yeah. Or like even I actually have three things.
Mhm.
Like relating that to like even like when you're in a hard rep and you're running and you're telling if you tell yourself it sucks. I've experienced it with many different things. Like the mental games you play with yourself when you're running, like you tell yourself it sucks. Like this is fucking sucks. Like David Goggins hard mode. Like I don't. That's just it doesn't really work as well for me. There, you can also tap into the like white hot anger where you're like, "Okay, it's wartime. Like we're about to kill," and like
Yeah.
that can work too. That has worked for me before. And then you can also like, but I find like recently when I'm training, I tap into this like state of like, "Yo, like this is. I feel so good right now. I'm amazing. Like I'm like in like this workout we did this morning. I'm like, dude, like you feel amazing. Like you're cruising right now. And I keep telling myself that, and then I'm like, stay in contact, stay in contact. Yeah, you got this. You got like, and that self talk, like I'm like, and then it starts to become true. And then, well, oh yeah, you're talking about like the 99% thing, like, like unconscious, and then the 1% of the guys who like tell themselves good stuff every day. That reminds me of, like the quote, like, maybe not, maybe millionaires don't believe in astrology, but billionaires they do.
Yeah,
Is one
dead
of those
ass,
things.
dude.
One of those things. And recently, like
Yeah,
I kind of like, I'm sure I think like getting a bit into astrology, like or just like I've seen stuff in my life that's happened. I'm being like, huh, you know?
it's cool to find out how it's all connected.
Yeah.
I met a guy and he studied it in college, and he talks about how like the Western world has the whole idea of astrology all messed up. Like it's actually you're supposed to be taking the Eastern or the hedonistic approach or something like that. There's some other, and he was like, I always thought I was like a Sagittarius, and he's like, oh, what day you were born? And I told him, and he's like, oh, you're actually a ficus, and like a ficus has like all these similarities to a Sagittarius, but there's distinct differences that like were so accurate. He's like, yeah, you probably think this, and like you're kind of just like you understand or like you don't. I don't know what it was. He just nailed so many different things like about having kind of like a carefree attitude but also like knowing like you're here to like win and like just so many like interesting things and they help build the self-confidence because when you think about source and you just think about everything it's like this is the science of what we're kind of made up of so like
Hmm.
why have we been so deterred from like paying attention to it and
Yeah.
like it circles back to the whole idea that people have on this take of like the north and like how we're just fed all this shit to distract us
Hmm.
and we're fed the shit food and we're fed the
Yeah.
we're convinced that we're supposed to live this hamster wheel life when like there's these secrets that we have to find in books or from people that are like feel bold talking about them and it's like but
Hmm.
that's where I look for those what are the 1% things that the 99%
Yeah.
aren't doing. It's
Definitely.
like those are the things because they're doing the research to be like oh just because it's not hand fed to me doesn't mean it doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Definitely. Like, well, you talked about like the source, and I don't know about you, but I'm definitely like, and I'm not necessarily like religious, but like I believe in, I know, and I've like found
Yeah,
God. And
same.
let's talk about that for a quick second,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
like, yeah, like me personally, I found God through meditation. I didn't what was it? It was just a whole bunch of time of silence, and then I went on like a silent retreat for 24 hours. Didn't talk to anyone. It was a whole bunch of time of silence. I didn't hear anything. I would meditate for half an hour at least every morning, or sometimes I would meditate half an hour twice a day. But I was meditating a ton, and when I did that, it was just silence. I wasn't taking in any content. I wasn't taking in anything. I was just taking in what God was telling me and what God was showing me. And yeah, I think like if you want to find God, just spend a ton of time in silence. Like it's hard. The first time I went to go sit for half an hour in silence, I was like, how am I going to do this? I thought meditating was like 5 minutes max. That's the most I've ever done. And then, but I just did. And then I was like, huh, like a lot of answers just came to me purely through silence. I'm
Yeah,
wondering
100%.
if yeah, if you want
My
to talk about your really,
experiences, yeah, no, it's interesting. It's like I don't I like talking about it because like I grew up very traditional, like super Catholic family.
mm,
Like woke up at 7 a.m. to go to church until I was like 14 years old,
yeah.
right? But I always just being the curious kid I wasn't I never took it at face value. I was like I
Hmm.
always understood what they were teaching. Like I went to Sunday school, like I'm confirmed, like and I understood like the purpose of it, but I wasn't necessarily just taking everything as this is how it all went down, right? Like this is
Hmm.
how the world started. This is, he died and came back and all these things that, we're
You
taught to believe. And while I
you
do
you
believe
question things, like you
I
weren't like,
question it.
oh, you didn't just accept it
No,
blindly.
because I understood that I was like, I mean, you're confirmed at 14. Like who is conscious enough from 7 years old to 14 to make their own decision about something so like that will end up dictating like a good bit of your life because like you said like we mentioned then I kind of went through a period where he just wasn't very present. I think it's like a good like once I hit high school like would pray before races and always had a connection with God and was like
Hmm.
that was like my thing. But I always just kind of I recently really started to realize like maybe the reason I was thinking the way I was thinking was because, we're God's in all of us.
Hmm.
And that started to tie things. That's kind of the approach I've taken to it now, where like my belief around it is that, we're all living here, at the same time, having the same experiences for a reason. There's a reason me and you get connected. There's a
Hmm.
reason I'm connected to
Yeah.
Lars. There's a reason all of that stuff magically lines up. And it's
Hmm.
because a lot of the guys I'm around are believers. I'm not friends with like a ton of
No,
atheists. Like, and I'm not.
no,
It's
me
not like
neither.
it's not a discriminatory thing. It's a natural thing.
Hmm.
I think I'm around a lot of
Well,
believers
it's because
for a
that's what you
reason.
attract.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And if he's in all of us, then he would naturally bring us all together. And that's why I've taken this approach. I know we're all here to win.
Hmm.
And, like we're here from magic. There's no reason we can't make it. Like that is always like I've had that ingrained in me because that's really where I've transitioned into it. But yeah, initially started just super serious, like Catholic, but I would say I never bought into that kind of tradition until like now I've taken my own approach to it. And I'll probably raise my kids in that sense, but letting
Hmm.
them kind of create their own assumptions around it. Like I
Relationship
want to
with
get married in a
it.
church and like do the traditional
Mhm.
thing, but other than that, I try to keep it just, they're not gonna be raised Jewish necessarily because I'm not, unless
Yeah.
I marry a Jew, but
Yeah.
it'll
Exactly.
be like I want them to kind of have their own opinions on it, I guess would be the best way.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like I've decided like the way I'm gonna raise my kids is definitely gonna be in Islam. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time though, like I mean, it all is it's all the same thing at the
Here's a
end of the day. Like
question for you. I'm curious.
I mess with
Which
Islam,
one?
like
Yeah, exactly. No, but you brought up an interesting point because I know what my answer is, but like what other I know you said you weren't necessarily raised under a certain religion, but if you were, or if you had to pick one now, which one do you
Mhm.
say you would gravitate the most like towards, you think?
You know what? It's actually funny. Like I probably wouldn't. Yeah, that's it. Well, this is the thing. Like I wouldn't. I don't think I actually would raise my kids that way, but like it, it's kind of is like just because um like I feel like the strongest religion that like people actually like respect and like follow is actually like Islam. Just because like
All
yeah, some
right.
people like a lot of people just go to church but they don't actually like they don't practice it. They just like they're like in Christianity like they don't like
No, these guys
practice
fast for like
like
3 days,
yeah,
dude. Like
man.
they
And
go
it's just like if you don't fast, like you're a pussy. Like get the hell out of here, you
like you're
know?
out. Like you're off the
Exactly.
squad.
Like
Like
they're about it, bro. They're
yeah.
about it. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
interesting.
I think that's kind of yeah, it's kind of interesting. But also like yeah, I don't know. I think I would let my kids just yeah find God in
Find
whatever
God
way they
themselves.
do. And I
That's
just
cool, dude.
really encourage things like being in nature. I think in nature you're really gonna find it. Being in meditation. And you mentioned praying before races. I pray. I've definitely prayed a bit before a race, but I also like when I visualize too. Sometimes I just go to the stadium where I'm going to racing, where I'm competing. And I just like visualize and pray of like where I want to be. Yeah, tell me about like yeah, like the powerfulness of like praying before races, and then I want to hear a bit more about like your running career and how you transition that toward business and all that discipline and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, 100%. I mean, it started really just, I've always kind of just, I mean, yeah, the praying before races is always a thing. I mean, definitely like it would be night before, usually honestly on a nightly basis I'm doing it, but similar situation, like I'd get to the track and really my first thing was always like even if it was a cross country course, like I was finding the track if we were at a track meet, again, just finding the track and like getting comfortable on it. And then I usually go stand in like the middle of everything, even if there was 10,000 people there. And I would just totally check out. Like I would just kind of look up to the sky and like kind of walk in like a circle and just be thinking about how I visualize the race, be like praying, be like thanking, God. And like I lost a lot of people that were close to me and just like, I would always kind of talk to them before the race. And then once I kind of did that, I would just kind of do the sign of the cross and then go back to the team. And it was like I was locked in from there. Like
Mm,
the routine started. Um, in my running career, I mean, it's interesting. I grew up playing baseball my whole life, and then my dad got the baseball job at the public school, like when I was heading into high school. And so I had just done a running camp my eighth grade year, and it was like the coach at the private school had coached that running camp, and he used to run at UF, like set a bunch of school records, was like this crazy fast guy, and I loved working with him. And he's like, you should come run here and play baseball. And at the time, my dad wasn't the coach at the other school, so I was like, I'd went to public school my whole life, but I was like, this could be
Hmm.
fun. Big fish in a small pond. They weren't
Yeah.
as competitive as the other school I would have ran at,
Hmm.
so I could have like competed in the top five at state every year, probably with average times.
Hmm.
And then he got the job, and I was like, all right, so I'm not giving up the baseball thing yet. Got to go play for my dad. He's been my coach my whole life.
This was in
Did
high
that.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't even run track till my junior year, really, of
No
high
way.
school.
That's actually funny
Yeah.
because that was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
the same with me. Like the year I actually took it seriously because I was always doing a whole bunch of other stuff before that.
Exactly. Yeah. So like I would play baseball in the spring, which is when our track season was, and I'd run cross country in the fall. And that year,
Hmm.
like heading into the summer for cross country, I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Like I don't want to be on a team. I'm gonna like run like I had this idea that I could just like run open and like unattached and like have a private trainer in Jacksonville and
Bro.
do that. And like I wouldn't have to be on a team. And I was like, so my dad's like, all right, you gotta go to summer conditioning for 3 weeks. And then if you really don't like it, my older sister was a senior, so she's on the team and like if you really don't like it, you don't have to do it anymore. We'll do it your way. Play baseball in the fall and do that other track shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And so then like the date came around, and it was like 2 weeks after the date, and he's like, "You still want to quit?" And like I'd already made boys with like all my sister's friends. I was like the freshman that was like already running seventh on the team and like was about to take these
Nice.
senior spots, like, and that fired me up.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit! Like I can like I like fuck J like what's JV? Like that's not like
Yeah.
if I'm doing this, like I'm doing it."
Yeah.
And so yeah, I had a really good freshman cross country season, like set the freshman record and like made the
Wow.
competition team. Yeah, it was super cool. And then didn't run track, played baseball, then same thing the next year. Sophomore was like running in the 16s and cross country like for the 5K, and I was like, really they were trying to push me to do track, and I started doing both in the sophomore track season. And then my dad's like, you can't show up to baseball practice an hour late. And I was like, that's true, but I needed track times to get recruited. Like no college
Hmm.
was recruiting me without track times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went down that rabbit hole, kind of tried to do both, and then ultimately just got a couple track times, played out the baseball season, played out the baseball summer, and then that next year just took track series. But when I took track series, it was like I'm going to state or I'm like, because quitting baseball sucked. It was like one of the toughest things I had to do.
Hmm.
Easily, it was
Yeah.
like, my dad was my coach for 18 years. Like it was
Yeah.
like you don't just
Yeah.
want to leave that, but
Especially when it's your dad
I was pinch
too.
running. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was pinch running. I was undersized. I couldn't like I hadn't found the gym yet, like, and he was putting me out there to run, and I'm like, all right, well, if I'm gonna run, then I need to run on the track and get paid for this shit. Like, let's go.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Definitely.
my interest, like my story with running is always like I can't say I didn't love it, but I can definitely say I never loved it as much as I loved baseball, and it eventually caught up to me once I got to college and experienced like went through 2 years, but then experienced life and was like heading into my last year was like I just want to live and
Hmm.
kind of go throughout this. But I know if I had been playing baseball at that size school going through, dude, I would have played like single A farm league, like making 25K a year just to
Yeah.
like keep playing
Yeah.
baseball. So like yeah, that's why my story with running is interesting. But it did translate well into business because it was like you don't get attached to things. Learn that with
Hmm.
baseball, then learned it again quitting the college team, and then like just having to show up every day. The biggest thing I lost after I quit track in college was I had a year where like I was in school, but I wasn't doing anything else except really just running the business. And
Yeah.
it was like I was just talking to my mom about this the other day. It like I was never the type to wake up at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Now I was doing that. Then, like, having the track routine, you have to eat right all the time. You're up at 6
Hmm.
a.m. for practice. You're running every day. And it
Hmm.
was like, I thought I was just like, I didn't know why I was so depressed. And I was like, dude,
Hmm.
you're not eating right. You're not running every day. I took a year off of running. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, you're not focused on the little things that forced you to do every single day, even though you didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I had to create those new habits that I didn't want to do every day, apply them to the business, and now 12 months into finally putting that puzzle together, I feel like I've got the momentum to go for the next 5 years. But like it's just
Nice.
that's like that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, and I think like it's so funny that you say that because I think the runner's lifestyle is literally like it might be the most healthy lifestyle out there. Like definitely just because like me personally, like I have to live like the healthiest man on earth in my mind to be competitive. It's just like because it's like I mean any of these sports that are like purely performance based like cyclists, like swimmers, maybe gymnastics but
Yeah.
anything with this like cardio, like it, the cardio element, because like I'm like, dude, like I have to get in that. I was just like, or else I'm gonna be slow. Like I have to eat amazing food. I can't put any crap in my body, or else I'm gonna, I'm gonna be slower. I'm gonna get injured. And I have to run every day. And like, I feel amazing when I'm doing that. And like, I've never, honestly, it's funny. I've never, well, no, I've had like times where I can do like my 2 week break, like after my track season,
Hmm.
like my off season, that's like 12 days.
Right. Yeah.
But, because it's just like
Remember that too.
you always
Yeah.
need to be building your base. But like I've done that before and like not ran as much, and I do definitely feel a little bit different. Like this year we just like, although at the same time I also like turned it to the business. Like we were just like grinding door-to-door sales on one of the weeks of my off season this July,
Hmm.
and like I just turned that running focus into business, grind, grind, grind. We was like we did this week, it was like a discipline week. It's like mandatory knocking 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day. And then we had to do a whole bunch of these other like challenge. We had to like spar each other and all this other stuff. But like
Oh my
I realized that like no matter what it is, me personally, like I just have to be fully going in all in on something. Like if it's not running, it's a business, or if it wasn't running, it would be fighting, or
God.
like another sport, or like music. But like definitely like I honestly think like that's the happiest way that you're gonna be. That's the happiest person you're gonna be. It's just be like picking something and just giving it everything and like fully pursuing that.
100%. I agree. And the biggest thing people, you hit on earlier, like you low key know what you want to do. You just don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily know what it looks like. But it's like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, like they're putting that energy into other things. Even when you, like we mentioned earlier, like you start a business and you think that's the thing, and like it
Mm-hmm.
starts producing the monetary way to like be the thing. But then you notice like, oh, I'm not fulfilled. Like this is like what the
Mm-hmm.
millionaires that like get rich too quick, like that's what they feel, where they're like, oh, I'm spending all my money on the wrong shit, and like I don't feel right,
Mm-hmm.
and like
And
it's a
and then
it happens
you
at
start
it
going to the
happens at
club and shit
5K a
way too
month.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can happen at
seriously.
5K a month or 100K a month. It's like
Uh-huh.
you really but you mentioned like eating healthy every day, and I saw I think the first reel I saw, you were talking about your sour candy addiction, and I like have such a resonation with that because like if
Oh my
I'm the healthiest
god,
person on earth, but I can't seem to shake the fucking sour candy, especially when I'm like creative and shit.
bro.
And it's like the worst shit we can be eating, dude. It's like absolutely
Yeah,
bar none the worst. Like they outlaw it in other countries, and like we just put
really.
it in. Oh,
I didn't know
you
that.
can't find it in Europe. You can't find Skittles in Europe.
Oh my
California just banned
god,
Skittles.
that
Yeah,
is so
like
funny.
yeah,
No way. That's funny that you have that. Tell me what it's like for you, because bro, I love that shit. Like
dude. It's
gummies,
just
bro. Oh
like
my
it's yeah. It's like if I know I'm gonna like grind
god.
for work, or I'm gonna head
Yeah.
to the coffee shop, or like it's the end of the night and I'm like at Target. Like
Mm,
I'm just like I'm like grabbing it like every single time. It's only like $2. You're like, who gives a shit? And then like you feel like shit when you wake up in the morning. You're like, oh, I wonder
yeah.
why. And then
Yeah.
like your body can't even digest. It's like swallowing gum. Like 100.
Yeah.
My worst is like the gummy worms. Like they're my
Oh,
absolute
like the
like
sour
weakness.
gummy worms. Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude. Yeah, no, that was like a big thing for me, because like I've always like the last 2 years I've been like, okay, like 90% is good on diet, and like it went from like I growing up, like my parents were like, oh, you'll burn anything, you're a kiddo, you're never gonna get
Same
fat, like, because
shit.
but it's like what you're actually putting in your body. Just because I'm not gonna get fat, just because I work out a lot, doesn't mean it's the best thing to put on my body. So I'd like drink pop and
Yeah.
all this stuff. And first thing, once again, my boy Mats, he put me on Matt Swanson, the Canadian record holder. But he was like I was drinking pop at this restaurant when we were on our way to a meet, and he's like, dude, that's your like you're having 2 or 3 pops. Like, what are you doing? I was like, what? It's not. Is it bad for you? Like, I was like, I don't care. I didn't even know, And then I started trying to eat healthy, and then like, okay, now I'm not gonna eat like any Popeyes, but then like sometimes here and there, and then and then it got to the point where it was like, okay, now I'm never gonna eat a greasy meal, and then the last thing for me, or like, and then it gets to the point where like, hey, like I don't really have a desire to drink just because I know it's gonna hurt my performance. Then the last thing was candy for me, and I decided like in August, like in the new build-up, it's just like, hey, it's like, do you really want to be about it and know that you did everything that to be the best athlete? And it's like, dude, like you can't be eating candy, and there's even still times where I like look at it, or like in the store, and I'm like, oh, that'd be really good right now, and then I'm like, nah. It's just like it's hard, but it's just like, and then once you do that, you're like, yeah, I am who I say I am. But then now I'm like I'm getting sort of the point where I'm like, like even if I went, I mean, I'm like I told myself I'm not gonna like buy candy, like go get candy, or at least have like a big old like bag of gummies until like after the next track season. But then I'm like, yo, at that point, will I even want to? Because I know it's gonna make me feel like crap. I'm not sure.
Probably that's what happened with soda, dude. Once I quit soda,
Mm,
I was like the same thing. It was like soda, fast food, and then now it's just like kick the candy and I will be good. I've got like I fast. I'm like I'm good. I try not to
yeah.
eat too long before bed. Like we've dialed that kind of stuff in. But
Hmm.
yeah, dude, that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
We're almost an hour in
definitely.
here, so yeah,
Damn,
it's
son.
been I know, right?
Just
It freaking
floating.
it flies
We
when
on a
they're good.
wave. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
when
on
they're
a
good,
wave.
it fucking flies. We've had quite a few. It looks like I know this guy Adam keeps requesting to join. And I'm like, I
Uh,
don't.
we could answer questions. There's some
Yeah, I know.
questions
Do you see any? I
at the
know. Oh, here
start.
we go. Okay. It says here's one.
I think someone
Uh,
said, how do you motivate yourself?
oh, cool. They
Is
people
it
have asked it too.
the very quote? How do you motivate yourself to go running? I'll go for that one. I motivate my well, honestly, it's not always motivation. Like there's times like the other night, like it was dark and it was like 8 p.m. I was like,
Mhm,
okay, it's like I got my run. It's like not even motivation, but it's just like just knowing that you have to do it and you go do it.
mhm.
So yeah, I'd say it's not about motivation. It's just like frame it like this: like have the respect for yourself that you are the person that you say you are, and you are good on your word. And if if you frame it like that, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna miss it. Like, how am I gonna go tell my girl if that I'm like who I say I am if I don't even tell myself that? You know what I mean? So that's kind of how do you motivate yourself? Yeah, just discipline. Just make the. That's also a good thing to do is like accountability. Like I remember there's this one time when I was like posting on YouTube and I like I like shook hands with my friend and I was just like, dude, if I don't post every day on YouTube this week, I'm an absolute pussy. I'm nothing. And I like shook his hand. And I was like staying up till 3 a.m. posting YouTube videos, but
It's funny. Which of us has the better mile time? Definitely Sebastian. What did you
dude,
top
I
out?
don't know though to be honest, because like my 1500 is only 410, so that's like 427.
Okay. Yeah, so we have like the same mile time. That's
Similar
I
mile
peaked
time.
at yeah, the fastest I ever ran was like 4:28.
Yeah, that was from like one. That was from like 2 years ago. This last season, it kind of I tried a new training program. It was way too intense. I just had no base.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't even PB this year. But this year we're feeling fit. Aerobic base is high. I mean, I'm hoping indoor. I'm hoping for 410. That's my goal for the mile. For the mile,
Yeah.
not the 1500. But I
Right.
mean, like I think I'll probably open up around 416.
And what event are you working on? Like, did you say like the first thing you'll compete in like soonest?
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna race a
Cool.
5K at the
Around the
end of,
track
at
or
a road 5K at the end
road
of
5K?
November just to like test my base because I've been doing a base for like August. I haven't been racing cross. I'm like 6'8", 200. It's like cross isn't really my thing. I
Yeah.
might race cross next year if the team needs me, but
Yeah.
I mean it's not my bread and butter. You know, I'm a big boy.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm gonna race a 5K road race. Hopefully, I mean like I think it should. Hopefully it's under 15:30.
Mhm.
And then or like well my goal is like sub 15 and then the 5K and then indoor January racing the mile
Cool.
and yeah that's hopefully get as close to 410 as possible
Yeah.
but how to run an 800 meter Zyger Mafia how to run an 800 meter I would say you definitely got to start hard you definitely got to be a positive split get out there first 200 I would say like first 200 like you got to go pretty hard and then you kind of like settle into that next lap but yeah and then like 500 to go it's going to start hurting then you hit the bell lap and you're like okay now it's time to ramp it up and like 300 to go you're like okay right don't like hold it back but like you almost kind of start kicking and then 200 to go you're like okay let's go and then like 150 to go you just ramp it up and like 100 to go you just go all up that's basically
What was
you
that
got any,
one?
you got
How to the
how to
800?
run an 800 you got any words for that
Oh, dude, that was my shit in high school. I love that shit, dude. Because
dude
that was where
if I
I
could
got
be
to
like
see the
the best
kick,
at it
dude. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
I was the asshole that just like waited till there was 300 to go, and because I was distant, I could just turn it that last straightaway. It was like I
Mm-hmm.
that momentum was mine through the turn. But yeah, I mean the simplest thing I could say on that was uh focus on the last 300, and like,
Mm-hmm.
first
Yeah.
straightaway I really focused on opening up and just getting as much ground as I could, and then shortening up around the turn, and then like you said, just balls to the wall, fucking all out the last
Yeah.
100. And yeah, it usually worked out pretty well for me. I got some pretty sick videos that pump me up still. Just like hunting guys down.
Yeah.
That shit was
Yo,
fun.
this guy who was commenting some sus shit said more hair gel, Jack.
I know, dude.
That's some junior high comments right
Yeah,
there, bro. I'm
we picked
sorry,
the
but
worst
come on.
religion. No, I
Yeah,
know.
I'm sorry, dude. That's just some junior high
Uh
comments.
Freeze is one of those guys that literally you can't he doesn't have a face on social media, but he just like found me through an old dirty bot like a Boston account that I was working with.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, then he like just started commenting and DMing me all the time, and I have no idea who he is, what he does.
Bro, yeah.
He
I
hopped in on those live streams too and would just like beef the guests, and I'm like, dude, I like nobody knows
yeah.
who you
I,
are.
yeah, I know.
But
I got a couple guys who, as you post content and then like some of it's a little more controversial, or just if you're just yourself and like you're like if you're talking your shit, if you got some energy behind your voice, you're gonna get people who do that. But I got a couple guys who just comment like, talk a little shit everywhere. I respect it. Talk your shit.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just kind of
one
funny.
kid, I know Lars asked this one from the stories, but he said, "How do I not get fatigued while running?"
Mm,
You got any tips for that?
not get fatigued while running. I mean, like, I hate to say it, but like, if you're new to running, like you just got to do it more. Like, you're never not gonna get fatigued. Like, even if I go for an easy run, sometimes I might like. Sometimes I might be feeling good, and I don't even get fatigued till like 92 hours. But like, eventually, you're gonna get fatigued. So like, no matter what your level it is, and like, it depends on how fast you're going. But I would say like best advice for that is like always start your runs nice and slow. Like for an easy run, like don't start it like too fast because then it's just gonna make the run way harder for yourself. So like, say you got like a 30-minute run, don't start it at like warm up into it, and then just the way your aerobic system works, it always gets better later. So like because in reality, like if you're a beginner runner, like your aerobic system takes 12 minutes to warm up. If you're more experienced, up to like 20 to actually be fully warm. So yeah, start your run slower, and then like feel it as you go. Like even when I do workouts, like say I have like the other day I had 8 by 1200. Yeah, I always start them slow, and like it did kind of like feel easy at the start, but then like okay, now we kind of, and then by the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth rep, I can fully actually start sending it because I'm fully warmed up, and then it's just way easier that way. So always like start slower, no matter what it is. Like, well, except for the 800-meter, you have to start fast, but that's more of almost pretty much a sprint. But for every distance race is like, yeah, start slower and faster, negative split. But
Yeah,
yeah, applies to easy running too, though.
for sure. Interesting. Cool. And then I don't know. This isn't really a question. Is he a fellow Romanian? Is my I think it's
You
from
know, it's
your bio.
hilarious.
Is it from
Uh,
the? Is it the flag in your bio?
Bro, I thought that was so funny. No, that's not the Romanian flag. That's the Chad flag.
Okay.
Bro, it's so
Gotcha.
funny because me and my boys always joke about being a Chad. And one time I was just typing out like Chad, and then the flag came up on like the emoji recommended when I was texting, and I was like, that's my new flag. That's my nationality, bro. I'm excited to
Gotcha.
represent the country of Chad.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool, dude.
So funny.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm not
Um.
Romanian. I'm Swedish, Icelandic descent,
Oh,
but Canadian, third
yeah.
generation Canadian.
Gotcha. Cool. And then, okay, I don't know who this Adam Lodo guy is. He keeps trying to join, so I assume he's got a question.
Let me
I'm gonna like,
get a question.
I can always remove him if it's not a good idea. But
First we got just a little youngin. I like that username, G. I like it. Seb, what made you fall in love with the sport? What made me fall in love with the sport? So I started, running was the first like school sport you could do in elementary. It was run club. I don't know why they call it run club, call it run team, but anyways, it was run club, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to do it. Ayo David says, "What's up? What's up, David?" But I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I think I'm gonna try running, and I was like just kind of naturally good at it. And then my dad used to run, so then he like immediately started like training me. Like, we did a few runs before the races, and then the next season, this was like grade one, and then grade two. The next season, he like trained me hard. Like, give me doing lactic training, like hard training before the races, and just because I trained more than anyone. I remember there's like the first race I won, the Kfir race. I still remember it vividly. And like it's funny, it was just grade two, it's a small race, but like it's so significant in your mind as those memories of the kid. And then it was a 1200-meter race. We raced around a lake. My dad would always. This is one thing he did really well with me is he'd always like instill visualization of races into me, and he instill the race plan. It's like, hey, hang around the pack. But once you get that corner, get on his shoulder, and then once you see the finish line, go until like only pass when you know you're gonna win. And yeah, I played the race like that, and then like I took a win, and like, it was like 300 kids in the race, and I was just so gassed about like winning. I'm like, dang, I didn't lose to anyone out of 300 people, and like that feeling of winning just like felt so unstoppable. And the feeling of winning paired with the feeling of pushing your body to absolute exhaustion is like just absolutely like nothing. And you get this burst of energy. It's like, and so like nothing else has ever replaced that in my life. And that's why I'm still running. And that's why I'm still pursuing this. So that's what made me fall in love running is the feeling of winning. And I just want to win at the absolute highest level because that feeling is just going to be irreplaceable. So yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Um, yes,
Seems like,
sir. And
God,
then thanks to Lil Youngin. It is hard when you
dang.
train by yourself. I feel that. We trained by himself last 2 years, but once you get a team, bro, it's good. It is good. You can really push yourself. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, little youngin, my
It's
boy.
fire. Yeah,
For real.
new
But
fans.
yeah, we gonna let the homie in or what? Or is he even
Yeah, I
still in
know
here?
he keeps asking. I don't know. I guess
It's funny.
we'll
I don't
see
think
what's up.
are the comments. Do we see the same comments or no?
I
Maybe.
think
Oh, I think we do.
I didn't even know I could scroll down. So
I'm just scrolling
okay,
through right now.
keep
Um,
accepting his thing. But all right, one more
uh,
time, Adam. I'm gonna try it one more time.
that's good.
Like, but it's got to be a bot, dude. He's like, there's a request coming every 5 seconds. But
Definitely a body. What are you up to after this?
um, it is 7 o'clock on Halloween,
Oh,
so
Halloween. I forgot it's
yeah,
Halloween.
right,
Yeah.
right. I know. So thank God the trick or treaters weren't too loud because I've got fam downstairs. But I don't know. I might venture out into the Flagler college scene tonight. I might
Nah.
stay in. I mean, it is Tuesday, so
You never
like,
know.
yeah, but yeah, we'll see. My buddy's like, I got to be home by midnight. I'm like, okay, maybe, maybe we'll do it. I was pretty productive today
Yeah.
for anyone who's followed along. Adam Loto is unable to join. All you guys joining at the end, I love you, but we
Yes,
missed a
sir.
banger episode.
It's all good. It's
Well,
up on what platforms?
yeah, it'll be released within the next 36 hours because I didn't drop one on Sunday, and it's the weekly profit, so we got to keep that up. But Sebastian, dude, thank you so much for doing this. It's a lot of fun. We
Yeah,
will
yeah,
do the next one in
that was a
person,
great.
and
Yeah, of course, of course.
yeah, I think this is banger. Where can we find you? Because I'm gonna clip this part. And yeah, like where should people kind of follow along with your journey and anything else you kind of want to
Yeah,
leave us with?
definitely. The best place to follow me is Sebastian Lind __ on Instagram. That's really where I post the majority of my content. I'm not really as active on TikTok. Sebastian Lind 4 on there. Seb Lind Pack PAK on Twitter, and then
That's awesome.
everyone's smoking that Seb Lin pack here. But and then Seb Lin on YouTube. I mostly posted YouTube a couple years ago. I'm gonna get back on there. Start posting like try to start posting weekly soon.
YouTube's the
And
wave, dude. YouTube's the
YouTube's the
wave.
wave. Yeah, just like and like the more podcasts I do like this, like kind of just like getting that long form action to be able to like talk is really good. So I think yeah, definitely gonna start posting you on YouTube again for sure.
Sweet,
I'll,
dude. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And I know you just got another random follower of yours, but very nice
yeah,
words, and we
bro, Kelvin, bro, thank you. I really
appreciate.
appreciate that. That's exactly why I do it. I'm trying to make trying to inspire people, trying to make them happy, live a positive life,
Everyone should be
because it's
happy. The
so
biggest
good.
theme of this episode was like did we like we are like in we're just choosing to be fucking abundant, and the more people that watch our shit and follow our stuff, like that's what you're gonna see. Like I don't
Seriously.
want people scrolling and like getting aimless shit. So like I'm not
Oh,
gonna post anything that's like not worth it. I know you're that same way. Like your videos honestly
exactly.
make me like die laughing sometimes, and like that hits,
Bro,
dude. It's like good. It makes it. It's just like it's so much easier because it's like it's not so like fucking serious. Like you're not a
appreciate it.
running guru. You're just like a runner that's fucking posting about
Yeah.
it, and
Sometimes
other
I
people
gotta
can
post
learn
the
from
riz,
you.
bro.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
did you see that? I thought it was so funny. I was at a haunted house the other day and there's this cat thing. And I was just like, it's like, hey, yo, this is literally me for real. I don't know, just the cat like funny, but I don't know. I just like, I like to keep it funny. I just post it I think's funny. And if other people think that's funny, that makes me
Yeah,
happy.
exactly. Yeah, love that, dude.
Um,
All right, man. We're
yeah.
gonna we're gonna hop out of here. I know you got one more question here. Do you have any other hobbies than running? You seem like you play an
Yo,
instrument. Okay. Well,
Oh,
his
you seem
voice,
yo,
that's an
you got
instrument,
me.
right?
You got
Yeah.
me. You know, just a little youngin. Thank this is the best question of the episode because you know why that is just a little youngin? Because I play piano all my life, 1 to 2 hours every day after school. I did all like the Royal Conservatory testing. I got up to grade 9 level. I didn't end up doing the grade 9 test, but I did the grade 8 test. So I was like really like played a lot of classical piano. I can play. I actually memorized Fur Elise, like it's like the most famous piano piece. I memorized it with my eyes closed, and I was gonna play it in my grade 12 talent show, but then COVID happened. But anyways, I played piano all my life. I would totally recommend that to anyone, just because it's a creative endeavor. Being creative in piano has allowed me to be creative making videos, and then now start writing music. Be creative when I'm writing. Be creative in life, baby. But yeah, anyways, this has been a great episode. Yeah, like I think the biggest message of this is like, dude, life is so fucking awesome, man. You just gotta live it, and just like there's
Yeah.
so much to be grateful for. Grateful, always practice gratefulness, and yeah, your mind is way more powerful than you think.
Yeah. 100%, dude. All right, man. Till next
All right,
time, I'm gonna end this and see what it does. I don't know if it's gonna block us out.